Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. Today a little bit of a more normal video, back to my fountain pens and drawing with a fountain pen. And for today I will be using, I guess, a fountain pen that I believe by today's standards can be considered a vintage fountain pen. This is the Pilot 3A fountain pen, and it comes in an extra fine nib, as you can see from the sticker that is on the screen. The funny part is I usually am not a big fan of stickers and I tend to remove them, and I've been having this pen in my collection for a while now, unused. Apparently it is a new old stock, unused. And I've been fighting to not remove that sticker from it, and I don't know for how long it will last, but eventually I could see it flying off. Anyway, with the sticker aside, the fountain pen in itself, it's actually pretty simple in its construction, which I like. It feels a lot more like what you would consider a student fountain pen, built a little bit more cheaper, but still sturdy enough to work. One thing that I do like about the pen is the clip. Now that it's a very serious clip and very useful, as you see me demonstrating it, it opens quite a lot. And it's pretty stiff, but not stiff in the sense that it's annoying, stiff in the sense that it feels like it's gonna clip on whatever you plan to clip it pretty strongly, and it won't fall very easily. It is hinge based. You can actually feel the spring working very nicely inside the cap. I would say that is one of the most robust, or at least it feels like one of the most robust elements on the pen. The pen in itself, mostly it is plastic, with a cap I assume being aluminium, since it's very light in construction, or at least feels very light in hand. The pen in itself, it's not that eye-catching. Like I said, is very understated in its appearance. The only feature that I really like and what made me want to have this pen is the nib. It has a arrow-like construction or look and feel to it. When I was a kid, I used to have something similar, and I believe, well, back then in communist times, the only access that we had was to Chinese market, and as such, I believe the fountain pen that mimicked this pen was a Hero fountain pen. I don't remember the model number, but now I'll probably go around and search for it and probably eventually get a copy of it in my collection. I remember I used to play with them as spaceships, because he has that flying shape, arrow-like nib, which I remember liking it in the sense that I like how it looked like, but I don't remember how he was writing. So that's the main reason I actually purchased this fountain pen a couple of months back, just because it hit some memories. And now that I have it, I have to say I do like it. And the way it is integrated with the section is really nice. One thing that I maybe find slightly uncomfortable is the step up, not between the barrel and the section, but between the area where the cap slips on, because it is built to try and make it as a one seamless design, even though once the cap is on, you still feel a difference between the barrel and the cap is not perfectly stepless in there, but even when you remove the cap, now you have a step between that area where the cap slips on the barrel and the rest of the barrel, which feels a little bit unfinished. But to be honest with you, from what I remember as I was using it during the writing and the drawing, I didn't actually felt it, or I don't remember being annoying or in my way at all. The pen is fairly light in hand, so if you like a light pen, this will actually be right up your alley in there. caps very well and posts very well. I don't know how well the cap seals in there. I guess that will be for me to find out over a couple of weeks, and I'll try and make an update once I know better, but seems to work pretty good. One annoying feature on the pen, or at least on the copy that I have, is that when you remove the barrel, it squeaks a lot. So prepare your ears. I'll try and demonstrate so you can hear it, how badly it is. Hopefully the mic will capture it. Yeah, that was me trying to unscrew and screw back in the barrel. I think a little bit of silicone grease should take care of that, but yeah, it is squeaky as you receive it, or at least mine it is. Writing wise, it writes actually pretty decent. The nib, even though looks nice, or at least I like how it looks, it is a little bit stiff, or on the stiffer side. On the reverse, actually, it doesn't really work very well. It is scratchy a little bit and barely puts any ink on the page, as you've seen. And it definitely can benefit from a little bit of work and a little bit of love to make it more smoother and more usable. I decided to go against that because I do like the line that it puts down on the paper on the normal side of things, so I don't really need the reverse for this pen. But who knows, maybe in the future I might touch it. For now, I decided to leave it as is, since the normal side seems to work pretty well. A little bit stiff, like I mentioned, and maybe slightly scratchy, but puts a decent amount of ink on the page, and it's fairly fine for what I want. So when it came to the writing part, I wasn't very impressed, but things switched when I actually started drawing with it. Also, I decided to pair it with a Pilot ink, Iroshizuku Yama-Guri. I was actually planning to use the Platinum Permanent Black for today, but I decided to play it safe since this pen seems to have a sack built in, and I don't know how Platinum Permanent Black will react with that sack, and I didn't want it to take any chances, so I played it safe and I used the Pilot ink. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't speak about the filling mechanism. It has a very interesting filling mechanism. I mean, in essence, it's a very simple one. It is basically a pipette, and it has like a clamp bar that you press on, and it compresses the sack and then sucks in ink as you release it. But what I like is that at the end it has like a weird reddish cylinder, which I've never seen on other fountain pens, and makes the operation of that press bar much easier, much smoother. I like it. I like the experience that I have. I would say that from all the press bar or suction type sacks, fountain pens that I've seen that are more modern between quotes, I do prefer this filling mechanism quite a lot actually, and seems to work very well. Filling it was fairly easy. I just pressed on the bar until I didn't hear any bubbles coming out of the pen, and then I considered it full. The only downside of the sack that it comes with is that it's black, and I'm unable to see the ink levels in it. As mentioned, the pen came as a new old stock. I don't know how new it is, and I'll take the seller's word on that one, but as you probably have seen from the close-up shots at the beginning, there are some scuffs and marks, and it's not very refined. The cap looks actually pretty good, almost immaculate, but the plastic beads are definitely scuffed, especially the part where the cap slips on the barrel when you cap it, but also when you post it. You can definitely see a line up to where the cap posts on the barrel. So most probably is not really new old stock. So keep that in mind if you want to have a more immaculate pen. At least in my case, based on what I see, I don't think you're gonna have that experience. This is more of a workhorse, I would say. Basically, yeah, a student fountain pen, something that you don't care that much about, something that is fairly cheap. It cost me 15 Canadian dollars. As a funny thing, the shipping was just as much as the pen. As for the drawing, as I mentioned, I like the fountain pen more, using it for drawing rather than for writing. Now, normally I don't write as much, I mostly do drawings, but yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite fountain pens to use in drawing. The lines were working exactly how I wanted them to work. I had no grief with it. As a fun fact, actually, especially on this paper, I keep on saying that the paper it's a little bit more flaky or has a lot of lint, and as you scribble on it, it will pick up that and it will clog the nib. I didn't really had any issues with nib clogging on this pen. I still had like lint depositing on the top of the nib, and I was just scrubbing it away, but didn't had any issues with clogging. And even when I had to clean it, it was very, very rare during the drawing. The drawing in itself took me about almost shy of 2 hours to finish. I was quite immersed in it. Didn't really had any plan with it. Just decided to start from the top of the page and then find my way towards the bottom, just scribbling and stipling and drawing lines, putting them together and trying to build shapes out of them. And at the beginning, I thought that it might end up being some sort of a plant, maybe no monsters, but eventually kind of evolved into its own little monster. And then as I was going down the page, it turned out that another monster popped up. I don't know if they're combined or they're just together. But yeah, it turned out interesting. Bottom line though, I was really enjoying the drawing and the lines and how the fountain pen was working on the page. I was actually surprised by the result. And this Yama-Guri seems to work very well with the fountain pen. I mean, it is kind of one of my favorite things from Pilot. It's kind of a sepia-ish color. It's not perfectly gray. It has a little bit of warmth or maroon quality to it, which is subtle. As you draw with it, you start noticing the browns and the oranges. Especially if you take like close-up shots, you'll see like orange a little bit towards the ends of the lines. Not as pronounced as you look at it from far away or normal distance, but if you grab a loop and really, really look down to it, you'll start seeing some lighter colors in there. Not much to say about the fountain pen. Really cool little thing. Grab one if you can. I think you might be impressed. Now, I don't know about the quality of the nibs. I might have gone lucky, but based on what I have seen, they seem to be a little bit rough around the edges, not as well polished as more expensive Pilot fountain pens or the color quality you're used to from a Pilot fountain pen. That is maybe a little bit more expensive. I will definitely reserve this pen for drawing, and I think I will be enjoying it. And now I really want to buy that Hero pen and do maybe like a side-by-side and see which one is better. Most probably the older ones that they have, they still have that from Hero. They still have that aerometric style reservoir, which I don't like as much as the filling system that is on this Pilot 3A fountain pen. Anyway, rambling again, I guess I should stop. Bottom line is, fun fountain pen, pretty cheap if you're interested and you want to give it a try. Great nib, in my opinion, even though it can be a little bit rough around the edges. I did enjoy it, not as much for writing because, well, I mean, in all honesty, I don't write that much. I'm not a writer, but I did really enjoy that for drawing. And that in itself, I think, in my perspective, makes it a great fountain pen to use. You don't have to care that much about it, and yeah, a pretty good workhorse, or Student fountain pen. Try it out. Anyway, I'll stop here. Hopefully you enjoy it. Hopefully you took something useful out of it. And hopefully you liked my drawing for today. I will see you next week. With that said, I'll stop here. And I wish you nothing but a wonderful day or night, whatever you are. Take care. Bye.